In my earlier video, I talked about why self regulation in parents comes first in the Svadharma framework. Because children don't simply learn from our words, they learn from our nervous systems. And when children repeatedly experience safety and co regulation, something remarkable begins to emerge. They become self aware. And this may be one of the greatest gifts we can give our children because self awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence, healthy relationships, resilience, and ultimately discovering that is their unique nature. But here's the problem. Many children are taught to perform. They're taught to achieve, to obey, but very few are taught to understand themselves. And when children don't know themselves, they spend much of their lives trying to become what others expect them to be. So, in this video, we'll explore what self awareness actually looks like in children, the neuroscience behind it, what happens when self awareness doesn't develop, and why self awareness is essential for raising confident, authentic human beings. So, self awareness is the ability to notice what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, why I'm reacting, what I need, what are my strengths, and what are my limitations. It is the ability to observe ourselves without immediately judging ourselves. And most of the time, we don't notice any of these because we are busy living reactive lives. In Sanskrit, this capacity of witnessing oneself is close to what is called Sakshi Bhava, the attitude of the observer. A self aware child may say, I'm angry, I'm nervous about tomorrow's test, I made a mistake, or I don't like loud places, I need time alone, I feel jealous. Notice something. Self aware doesn't mean children always behave perfectly, especially when they say to you, leave me alone. It means they can recognize what's happening inside of them because you cannot manage what you cannot recognize. Self awareness in children appears in many subtle ways. They recognize emotions. Instead of hitting, they say, I'm frustrated. Instead of melting down, they say, I feel left out. They know their strengths and challenges. I love drawing. I'm not a very good soccer player yet. I need help with math. Their identity isn't threatened by weakness. They take responsibility instead of blaming everyone else. They say, I forgot my homework. I shouldn't have said that. They can tolerate feedback because mistakes don't define them. Mistakes for them become information to improve upon. They recognize their body's signals. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm overwhelmed. I'm excited. They understand preferences and boundaries. I need some quiet. I don't like to be teased. I need help. So these are signs that children are developing an inner relationship with themselves. So, where does this self awareness come from? It involves several areas in the brain. First, the prefrontal cortex, that is the thinking brain. It helps children reflect, pause, evaluate themselves, think before acting, and this region develops gradually into the 20s. Second is the insula. The insula help us notice what is happening inside our bodies. It acts as a bridge between the mind and the body, translating physiological states into conscious feelings and emotions. For example, my heart is racing. I'm anxious. I'm hungry. I'm uncomfortable. This is called interoception, the ability to sense internal states. Next is the anterior cingulate cortex, which connects the survival brain with the thinking brain. This area helps with detecting errors. For example, a child recognizes that was not kind. It helps with emotional awareness, empathy. I hurt my friend's feelings. It helps with self monitoring. Next is the mirror neurons and co regulation. Children don't become self aware in isolation. Their brains develop in relationships. When a parent names emotions, like, you seem disappointed, you look frustrated, you were excited about that, children slowly begin to identify those feelings themselves. Eventually, the parent's voice becomes the child's inner voice. So, what happens if you raise a non self aware child? Parents often worry about grades, college admissions, but very few realize the cost of raising children who don't know themselves. Without self awareness, children become people pleasers, constantly asking, what do others want from me? Instead of, what do I truly value? They become emotionally reactive because emotions they cannot recognize, end up controlling them. Anger becomes aggression, sadness becomes withdrawal, fear becomes anxiety. They become perfectionists, believing mistakes are dangerous instead of learning from them. And self worth depends on performance for them. They become blamers. Nothing is ever their responsibility, it is always someone else's fault. They're easily manipulated because children who don't know themselves are easily defined by others. Peer pressure becomes stronger, social media becomes stronger, external validation becomes stronger. They are disconnected from their Svadharma, their unique inner nature. Instead of asking, who am I? They spend years asking, what do others want me to be? And slowly they lose touch with their inner nature. So, how does lack of self awareness show up? Parents often interpret these as behavior problems, but underneath lies a lack of self awareness. For example, frequent blaming. It wasn't me, he made me do it. Explosive emotions, because feelings are experienced but not understood. They have difficulty apologizing because admitting mistakes feel threatening. They have poor friendships and they are socially inept. They constantly interrupt, they dominate conversations, they miss social cues or become overly dependent on others. They seek identity from outside instead of within through comparing themselves with others. Also, they lack confidence because confidence comes from knowing yourself, not from being perfect. The Bhagavad Gita repeatedly invites us towards self knowledge. The greatest battle is not outside us, it is understanding our own mind. Because only when we know ourselves, we can act according to our Svadharma, that is our unique nature. Without self awareness, we become driven by fear, comparison, and expectations. With self awareness, we begin to live from our authentic nature. So, if you want your children to remain resilient, emotionally intelligent, confident, and capable of discovering their own unique path. Don't begin with performance, begin with self awareness. Because children who know themselves are far less likely to lose themselves. And in the Svadharma framework, self awareness grows from regulation, and everything else grows from self awareness. If you would like to learn how regulation, self awareness, observation, nurturing, and guidance help children discover their unique inner nature, subscribe to Swadharma Circles, where we explore parenting through neuroscience and the timeless wisdom of Sanatana Dharma.